In the holiday, when Cameron Diaz is drinking wine straight from the bottle in the grocery store because she's so frustrated, for being honest, I think a lot of agents have felt that way after this year in real estate.
So true. Also, that's my top favorite movie scene ever. But also when she's trying to fit into that tiny bathtub in the English cottage, that is what so many agents are doing with their marketing.
Right? They're trying to squeeze their personality, their life, and their expertise and everything they know they should be doing into a marketing plan that wasn't built for them in the first place.
Inside Modern Agent Social Club, we give you the space to actually build a brand and a marketing plan that fits you, one that feels fun, personal, and that positions you as the go-to agent in your community.
Now, we want you to make time for cozy nights at home watching movies like The Holiday, but Q4 is your runway for 2026, and our luxury marketing platform is the perfect place to start.
So get out of the tiny bathtub, pour the wine, and join us inside Modern Agent Social Club today so you can start 2026 with clarity and momentum. We don't really play any other games with the Peterson family. We do, unless throwing beer cans out of the hot tub and trying to hit a target counts as a game.
I feel like I could talk about sweet potatoes for a while.
You could probably come up with a metaphor. Then you have your Scrooges who take their stuff down on December 26th, and they are just, to me, in the potential serial killer category.
Yeah, 100%. How do I get more leads?
How do I stand out in my market?
Is it unprofessional to talk about my kids on Instagram?
Should I have one account or two?
Do I really need a personal brand as a real estate agent?
We are the Modern Agent Marketing Girls. We are two agents turned marketing experts who believe you can become the go-to real estate girl in your market, all because you are you. I'm Chelsea Peterson, founder and CEO of Modern Agent Social Club.
And I'm Kayla Fox, Modern Agent's content creator. Let us be your guide as we talk about what it means to market your real estate business the modern way.
So refill your favorite beverage, open your notes app, and get ready to build a business and a brand you're obsessed with. Let's go. Happy Thanksgiving week, Kayla.
Happy Needless Turkey Murder Day. And welcome back to another episode of the Modern Agent Marketing Girls podcast. Happy Thanksgiving.
I know, I love Thanksgiving week. It's so cozy. Is your tree up yet?
Of course. That is like a November 1st rule in our house. Unless it's like a Wednesday, the kids pretty much demand it. So yeah, what about you?
Well, we didn't put it up on November 1st because I was hosting a dinosaur birthday party.
Oh, yeah.
But I hope it's up by now.
There you go. Yeah.
At the time of this recording, it is not. But
one can always dream.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay. Thanksgiving is so cozy and fun. And I feel like, everyone gets so grouchy after Halloween the moment someone mentions Christmas, because it's like, give Thanksgiving its time, which just makes me laugh because I'm like, Thanksgiving doesn't ask that of us, but whatever.
All I know is you can eat turkey and have your Christmas tree up at the same time.
Yes, exactly. And it's never too late or never too early to celebrate Jesus' birthday, right?
No.
I mean, I start celebrating my birthday the month before, so
Me too. I also make the argument that fall gets like 3 months. September, October, November.
Yeah.
So why can't fall have 2 months and Christmas have 2 months? Because I feel like then you have your Scrooges who take their stuff down on December 26th, and they are just, to me, in the potential serial killer category.
Yeah.
Just
100%.
kidding. But that is a little extreme. Like, settle down. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about what we're wearing first, because we themed ourselves to the day.
Yes,
my shirt is a Mallory Urban, not vintage. It is a 2025 edition. It's all gravy. And then the back, which you'll see maybe somewhere, I'll put this.
Yes, what all you have? You've got like cranberries, deviled eggs, pecan pie, turkey, maybe mashed potatoes and green bean casserole. And I love the dishes that they have those in, like those like old school. What are those called? Like
grandma's casserole dishes?
Yeah, like, is it Corningware? I don't know.
Corningware. It's Corningware.
Is it?
Corningware.
Yeah, I feel like you could find those at like antique shops now, and they're super fun and nostalgic.
And in my mother-in-law's cabinets.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's so fun. Well, I am wearing one. I made this a long time ago. It is Ladyfingers. Hold on, I gotta stand up. Watch out, dog. It's just a bunch of words. It says Ladyfingers, layer of jam, custard, raspberries, more Ladyfingers, beef sauteed with peas and onions, a little more custard, bananas, whipped cream.
What's not to like? Beef, good. Jam, good.
It tastes like feet. That is a really good episode as well. I love like binge watching all the Friends Thanksgiving episodes. Did you know that that was never an intentional thing that Friends did? But their very first Thanksgiving episode, it wasn't even a real like Thanksgiving episode. It wasn't it the one where Rachel was that the one where she like her flight got delayed or something? Or maybe that was a Christmas one I'm thinking of. But the very
No,
first
that
was
was
it?
the one where underdog gets away when
Okay, yeah.
they get locked out.
Yes. So they said that that just kind of happened to fall on Thanksgiving. And then I got such great like feedback from it that they were like, well, shoot, let's just make Thanksgiving episodes every year. And they like made it like an actual thing. So they're like so fun and cozy to consume.
I watch them all the week of Thanksgiving, so that's probably what I'll be doing after you're done listening to this. The one with the trifle is the one where Ross got high, which I wouldn't, by looking, be like, there's a Thanksgiving episode. But
Yes.
there you go.
Yeah. The titles of them don't usually correspond with it, but
No.
they're all super fun. I love it. Okay, we are kind of talking just about our actual traditions and trying to make this episode a little bit lighter and fun, but also, you know us, we're going to tie it back to marketing and make it super fun. Because even if you're not hosting for the holidays, you are always hosting on your Instagram, which has been what a lot of the content has been about in Modern Agent this month. It's been all about like that Friendsgiving vibes, gather your people, build a brand that they want to come around and like be together for, and like make it like a fun cozy place, right? I included this in one of the first week's marketing plans for Modern Agent, but I just said like if your Instagram is like your home and if someone walked in right now, would they feel welcome and comfortable and excited to stay, or would they feel like they accidentally walked into the wrong house because no one was there to greet them and all the lights were off? So we've talked about like, it's kind of like your storefront and all of that stuff too. But like kind of think of it in like holiday terms this week as you are, whether you're going to someone's house or whether you are hosting yourself. But like think about the things that people do. Like if you're going to like your in-laws house or whatever, what do they do to make you feel welcome and excited to be there? What are like the things that you really look forward to that maybe feel like a little insignificant? Like what are some of yours, Chelsea? What are like the little things about Thanksgiving that you're just like, oh, this feels right?
Well, Thanksgiving is a big holiday for us Petersons. When I met my husband, we were only dating for like 2 months, and he said, okay, just so you know, I need Thanksgiving. You can have any other holiday. And I was like, that's fine. Like, we didn't have any significant traditions for Thanksgiving. With my family, we would like half go to Iowa, half be here in Wisconsin. So their whole thing, we bought his family farm in 2021, I think, 22. I don't remember. Anyways, that's where their Thanksgiving was hosted. So for his whole life, they went to the farm. They do a family football game called the Oofta Bowl. It's the turkeys versus the nutcrackers. We are the turkeys. I have since retired and I am on the sidelines. But I watched the football game.
Your name is definitely in the Hall of Fame there, I'm sure.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I've never scored anything.
Right?
So maybe they kicked me out. I'm not. Maybe it was like early forced retirement. I don't know.
Right. Like she's got to go.
But it's so fun. So like it's this whole tradition. We bought the farm. So for like a 10-year period, my first Thanksgiving ever was at the farm. And I'll try to keep this short. Then his grandma went into an assisted living home. His aunt and uncle who owned it, his uncle had passed away, but his aunt lived in California. So they're like, well, we're never selling it outside of the family, or we're going to turn it into a conservancy, or like it's never going to get turned into a neighborhood, basically. So we kind of were on a drive one day and we're like, we passed Peterson Road. It's like off of Peterson Road. We're like, what about the farm? And so like, anyways, it started this whole thing. We ended up back at the farm 3 years ago. So we have back to the traditional roots of their Thanksgiving Day celebration. And it's like a whole thing. So it's like the football game, then it's like snacks and appetizers, hot tubbing and cocktails. And then my mother-in-law works very hard in the kitchen while everyone else is partying, essentially. But since I've had Henry, I'm in the kitchen and on kid duty for most of it. But anyways, it's so fun. It's such a fun day. The family loves it. It's literally like you repeat the same thing every year, like the same itinerary, the same order of events, the same, even the conversation in the hot tub. Like it's the same funny story that Uncle Bob tells. Like it's so fun. So anyways, I guess it's not Uncle Bob. It's his cousin's husband. Whatever. Uncle Bob works, right?
That sounds very believable.
That's our tradition. And it's very like, now one of the other kids finally has a girlfriend. So like, because his cousin's kids are younger. So now they're bringing their girlfriend to the Thanksgiving this year. It's like a whole thing. So she'll be initiated, all the things.
Does she get a jersey?
Well, she's a nutcracker. So who knows? I don't know if they have, how official
like,
are they?
They're on their own.
They're currently trying to take one of our core players, Blake. from the turkeys, and they keep
Dirty.
whining and dining him. They let him go to their Tahoe house for the week, and I'm like, he's not transferring? What word do they use for football?
Yeah, and entering the transfer portal.
Yeah, no, he's not. He can't go. He can't.
Right? That's so fun. You know what I love about that story too is like how much one house meant to like generations of people. Like, because really, technically, they could have probably sold it. They probably could have made some good money on it. I mean, heck, if you would sell all the land with it and develop it, you could have made so much money. But it's like, you know what? That's not what it's always about. And, I think agents talk and like lead conversations about equity, and while equity is so cool and like it's life changing for people, it's not the only reason to buy a house or to move somewhere.
No, and I also never envisioned spending that much money on a farm property with a farmhouse on it and still not have a place to live. Like, we're building on it. I still have to build the house, like, and do the
Yes.
driveway and do all the things. Like, I never was like, that's on my life goals, but it became so meaningful through, obviously, I've been with Mark for 15 years, and like how cool it is and how just like everything's getting built up so commercially around here. I'm like, I want to be out. I want to have the privacy. I want to have we're the fifth generation. Henry will be the sixth. So
Wow. That's
it's
really
never gonna leave. I
special.
mean, maybe someday it'll leave, but hopefully he keeps it. Like, we have things in place that no one can just sell it. But anyways, it is
Yeah.
cool. But it brings to point, like, what does home mean? And it's not always about like the next best house or the next big investment. Like, I've had like frustrating moments where I'm like, okay, if we could have like built our dream house 2 years ago if I didn't buy that farm. But
Yeah.
like, it so like but I have like a bigger picture vision for my life, and so does a lot of people when it comes to real estate. And it's like, as an agent, how can we get more deep in how we talk about like home than just like the simple like, oh, interest rates are this or like it's about
Yes.
more than building wealth. It's about building a legacy and a life and all the things.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, it's the coolest thing I've ever spent money on in
Oh, yeah.
this day. So I'm like, it's so cool. So
Well, and meanwhile, you're in what we would call your stepping stone house, although it's not like
mhm.
it's a bad house, it's a beautiful house. But how is that for you, like mentally, like making it feel like home, but also knowing it's not the home that you're wanting to be in? You don't probably want to invest a lot in it, but you're also there. So how do you balance that?
I don't. I feel like I've done nothing. I've barely done anything. I'm finally starting to do like just little things here and there because it's going to be probably 5 years before we officially build and move into
Right.
that house and get there. And I don't want to just like be like, my house is okay. Like, I want to make it homey and cozy. So I do that through like little things like lighting and pillows and accents. But I kind of want to do something next year where I do like a 12-month homeowner challenge where every month I do a little mini project. It doesn't need to be a
Yeah.
renovation. It doesn't need to be anything dramatic. It could be like painting the bathroom a fun
Mm-hmm.
color or wallpapering if I can figure out how to do it one spot. Like,
Yes.
and I want every month to be a thing, just to have all next year dedicated to making this home cozy while we're in this interim, because like obviously it's building a house doesn't take 10 seconds. So like it's going to be a bit, and we're not quite ready to start anyways. We have a lot of research to do and looking at builders and architects and all the things. So
Yeah.
like I don't want to rush into this. I mean, every day or every time I see anyone I know, they're like, "So when are you guys building?" It's like it's like when someone asks like, "When are you guys going to have a baby?" Like, it's like one of
Right.
those questions where I'm like, "Oh my gosh, like why are you in more of a rush than me?"
Right.
It's a very
Exactly.
frustrating question, but like we aren't in a hurry. I just saw a reel actually where these people said we waited till like we were done building our family to build because we wanted to know like where are we at. And like they ended up having three girls, and so they designed their house based on like we knew we had three kids, we wanted to make it according to our
Yeah.
lifestyle and whatever. And that makes sense. And I'm like, I am in no rush because like that's our forever plan, not like hurry up, rush into it just so I can have like a house that I built. So I want
Yeah.
to be out there though. I said like the whole purpose we bought this is to raise our family there. So I don't want Henry to be like 12 and still not
Yeah.
there. So
Right.
we are like some sense of urgency, but not rushing into it. So yeah, this house I would like to give a little more like just a splash of our personality too while we're here in simple, inexpensive ways.
Yeah, like, there's a lot of little things you can do to a house that are inexpensive that can make a big impact. And, you think about, like, yes, there's, like, decor, which, of course, you could take with you, but also just, like, doing things to the home. Like, the other night, I actually texted my dad because we have a big living room, but the lights in there are so bright. And our house is just, like, a builder grade house. They did not bother to put a dimmer switch on anything or, like, any additional lighting anywhere. which is fine. But the other night I was just sitting there, and so what we usually do is we usually just keep that light off all the time. And then we have a couple lamps in there, which is fine. But of course, at night, it gets pretty dark in there. And the other night I was laying there and I thought, how much is a dimmer switch? And it's like $30. And I'm like, oh, why don't I just buy some dimmer switches for like this in our dining room? And I bet that would make an actual like huge impact for less than $100. And like, it's something that, not necessarily would add value to our house, obviously, but like someday when we would go to sell it, we could make the house look all like warm and cozy too. And like that adds like that perceived value, right? And so, yeah, just like those little things, painting, and even like I said, like off camera, we're talking about like finishing my little kitchen area downstairs. Like, I don't know, like we're in a home that we're planning on being in for a long time. And so, yeah, we're going to do things differently than what you would, obviously. But it's fun just making a house a home. And for us, especially, like we host everything all the time. So it's like we're always thinking about like how many people would fit in this room? Like how can we make this work? So that's always
That's
top
so
of
funny.
mind.
We are the hosting house too, and it's like we're meant to host a podcast or something.
Right. It's because we're
I
really
love
fun.
I love hosting. I don't physically host like Thanksgiving dinner, although we do with my family on Saturday. But anyways, I don't host like Thanksgiving Day with my husband's family. It's more his mom in charge and telling everyone what to do
Right.
as the day goes on.
Yes, ma'am.
But it's fine. And it's fun. And anyways, I love hosting, and I really think like what we're bringing this all back to though isn't, yes, we're talking about hosting and like the like home, right? This is like a huge part of our lives, but also like hosting your social media, hosting people on Instagram. Like if you think of your account, like we think of things so technically sometimes, like what should my profile be? What should my grid look like? What like but it's also like if you're hosting, like your example of are the lights even on? Are people like feeling like you're home? Like, or is it just this stagnant account? I was going through unfollowing just like I've had my Instagram for so long. I'm like, I'm gonna unfollow some stuff. I had so many like just real estate teams or things I followed, and like they hadn't posted in years and their thing was completely dead. And I'm like, I just unfollowed all of them, like all the ones that I came across them, like they're not active. But like we don't want that to be the case if we're trying to use that as a place to grow our business and our brand and
Mm-hmm.
all the things, right? So it's like how can we kind of use that hosting metaphor for how we do show up on social media?
Yep.
And we're like playing around with this before we started recording, and we said like your table is like your feed. Like it's the dishes you're serving, it's where everyone's coming to gather, right? Lighting the candles and the tablescape is like your tone and your visual. So if you think of like tablescapes, even if you go on Pinterest or Instagram and search Thanksgiving tablescapes, you'll see so many different options, right? They all have different vibes and tones, and they're probably all in the color scheme of what we're wearing right now.
Mm-hmm.
But like they're still different. And that's like your look, your feel, your tone of voice, the way you talk, the way you show up. And then inviting people into your home to actually come sit at that table, that's your brand. And the goal is we want them to come, we want them to stay for a while, like consume our content, click on our stories. We want them to feel like they connect to us, like they relate to us in some way, and maybe even bring a friend next time, right? Like tell their friend about our account, like follow her. She always shares XYZ. Like that's really like when you're hosting your account, if you think of it in that metaphor, it can almost feel easier to me to know what I want my content to be consisted of than when you think of it like it's Instagram and what should my stories be and what should my feed be?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. The whole tablescape thing like gets me like fired up because again, you can have a delicious meal while you're sitting on the couch watching TV with like no decor, no ambiance, and still think like that was really good food. But that's not what it's all about, right? And I think like when you have the gift or like when you just take the time, you don't even have to like be so terribly gifted at this, but if you just take the time to add a little bit of decor, whether it's flowers or candles or whatever, like it makes people feel special. And I don't, I mean, I kind of debated sharing this or not, but I am actually really excited about this. So I'm going to share it. So we have a good friend of ours who he is a teacher for students who have gotten kicked out of school. They then go to his classroom. And so sometimes, they're just some kids that have made some bad choices. Sometimes they're just kids that have really bad home lives. And so he's always like telling us like, okay, this is what's going on. Like, how can we help them? Or this family needs this or like whatever. And like, I mean, they've even gone as far as like letting some of these kids live with them because it's bad. And so the one thing that we started doing a few years ago was we started all like our whole like spa group started pitching in. We make like some portion of a Thanksgiving meal and let them just experience that in class, like on the Wednesday before school is over or the Tuesday before, which would be today. But it's just like a cool way for them because he's like, they don't sit down for dinner with their family ever. And half of them, they can't even afford this food, or they'll just get like the free turkey from wherever. Then that's what they have. And so that's one thing that I said this year was I was like, hey, not only will we all pitch in and like make some food, but can I come in and like bring candles and bring like a tablecloth and like some fancy dishware and like even like just some glassware, like just things that like they probably haven't used before that it just to make them feel special and to feel loved, right? Because that's what they need so much. And so I think like, when you compare like the tablescape to like your brand and how you make people feel and all of that, like it is not because we want you to look really cool on Instagram or we want people to be like, look at her, she's so whatever. But it's because like if you feel like you belong somewhere and if something makes you feel special, like that is something that's hard to come by, first of all, in this world, because most of this world is cut out to like really cut you down. And that's something that like the world needs more of. And so I love the whole idea of like the tablescape example and like comparing that to branding. I think that's a really beautiful thing.
It really is, and it's not even about how fancy it is, or it just makes it feel like that ambiance is almost like the brand vibe. It's like, this
Hmm.
makes me feel this little spark of joy, or it makes me feel at home, or it makes me feel welcome or comfortable, or this is like a really silly, fluffy example, but it's also true. It's like how you don't wanna drink wine out of a plastic Solo cup, right? You want
No.
it out of a nice glass, and it makes the experience better. It's literally the same beverage inside of it, but the fact that you're serving it in a real glass versus a plastic Solo cup, it makes the experience different. And so,
Yeah.
like, that's how we can think about the look and the feel and the tone of voice on our social media feeds. And does it, most importantly, like, sound like and reflect who you really are? You know, it's hard on social media because you'll see someone that you love to follow, and maybe you'll try to, like, not maybe even intentionally, but like emulate their vibe or their style. But it's hard because it's like, this isn't me though. So this feels like I'm having resistance with this. And so it can be really tough to come back to like, what does this mean for me? Right? Like, what is my tone? And a lot of times it's like, even as simple as if you're on a story and you're talking to the camera, or on a reel talking to the camera, do you sound like what you would sound like if you were talking to a friend? Like, I always come back to that. Or if you write something. If I wrote this down and I was like telling my friend this idea or this concept or this place that I love in our city, does it sound like I wrote that, or does it sound like someone else wrote it? Like, does it sound like I'm putting on my robot suit to like write the content? And like,
Right.
sometimes it does feel like that when you go to write a caption or you create a reel, you're like, okay, I have to like shift my gears into social media land, and it like strips away the personality when you do that. Like, I struggle with it. Like, I'll have like an idea and then I'll go to actually put it in the reel and I'll be like, wait, that's not how
Right.
I wanted to say that, you know? So it's like going, like running this filter of like, is this tone my tone? Is this vibe what I want to portray? Like, and trying to stick to whatever yours is. Like, what is your tablescape?
Yeah, exactly. I love that. Do you make the same signature dish for every Thanksgiving, or what do you make?
Kind of. My go to, like, I guess this is my favorite dish, is green bean casserole.
Mhm.
And I just recently found out that my mother-in-law hates green beans, which this is for like 25 people, so it doesn't really matter. But it was funny last year because there was like, I said I would bring that and she didn't seem that excited. And then we were out to dinner like a couple months later and she was like, oh no, I don't want the green beans. I don't like green beans. I'm like, oh, that's why you're excited about my
Ding, ding, ding.
side dish option. Anyway, it's funny. But no, I love green bean casserole. That's usually what I like to make. I also love stuffing, and I like to do like a sourdough stuffing, but I haven't made that.
Ooh.
My mom usually makes that for like our Thanksgiving after the Petersons. What about you?
Yeah, that's so fun. So I have 2 that I always make. The first one, actually went to this is so funny that my parents let me do this. I actually went to Wisconsin for the very first time when I was in high school because a friend of mine, her family was up there and she had invited me to go. And for some reason, my parents were like, yeah, sure, go. But they knew the family really well too.
For Thanksgiving?
For Thanksgiving, it was like the only Thanksgiving I ever missed with my family, but we had so much fun. But her grandma made, like, candied pecans, like cinnamon sugar pecans, and it made the whole house smell so good. And then I remember always thinking, like, "I'm gonna learn how to make those." And then I remember even for, like, my friend's graduation party, her grandma brought those, and that was, like, one of, like, the little things on the tables for people to enjoy. But I was like, I'm learning how to make it. So I make those every year. And it's funny because even most, like, my kids are just now like maybe willing to try a nut because of how they look, but they've even thought like, oh, that's really good. So I'll make that. And then I also will make sweet potato casserole, which I feel like some people like, do you like that? Okay.
I
I feel
do.
like a lot of people are like, oh, that's terrible. But sweet
Do you
potatoes
put
are like,
marshmallows in it?
yes. So
Okay.
I've done it a couple different ways, but I usually at least like put some marshmallows on top just to make it look pretty. But I really like the crunchy topping. But actually I made it gluten-free the first couple of years because my niece had to eat gluten-free, and it was like really super delicious and easy to make, and then I've just kept making it that way. But I tell my kids like sweet potatoes are like the candy of all the vegetables. Like they are actually super sweet. So I think
They're
they're
so
really good.
sweet.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like, too much for me, like, I like them, but then, like, I like more savory food than sweet, so if
Mhm.
we have, like, sweet potatoes with our chicken or something, I'm like, "I kinda want regular potatoes," like, the savory option, but they are
Yes.
good. They're also
Yes.
really good, this is not for Thanksgiving, but, like, we cut them super thin, and then we'll bake them, like, so they turn into chips, and then do, like, nachos with them. That is, like, my favorite texture of the sweet potato,
Yes, so
when
good.
they get a little crispy.
I was gonna say, I feel like I could talk about sweet potatoes for a while because there's so many different ways you can make them.
We could probably come up with a metaphor. It's almost as if our brains work that way, I don't know. I also make, and this is, like, totally not Thanksgiving-y, but because we do, like, the whole hot tub thing, and then we do apps and all that during the day, I always make buffalo chicken dip for that. So I always make buffalo chicken dip. Everyone asks me to make buffalo chicken dip. I've written, sorry, an email about buffalo chicken dip and related it to marketing before because it's, like, such a thing. But, yeah, buffalo chicken dip is one of my Thanksgiving dishes.
Well, I think all of that is related to marketing because if you have something that you have done on repeat and that people have asked you for and asked you about, that's like ding, 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 your signature dish. Like that's the signature content that you need to lean into. And, I could look at it and be like, well, I could make something more complicated than sweet potato casserole, or like not everybody likes that. So I shouldn't worry about that. Or I can make this too, or whatever. But like, the bottom line is, whenever we plan a Thanksgiving meal, everyone says, and Kayla's bringing the sweet potato casserole, right? Like, that's what they're expecting, and that's what they check off, and that's what they look forward to putting on their plate. So, we've done so many episodes and things on like a signature dish and what that could look like for you. But really, the bottom line is like, look at what people already ask you about, or look at what people have already responded to and been interested in, and then just lean into that thing. Doesn't mean you have to do it forever. There might come a day when I might, throw my family way off and like bring something different. But while it's working, like why not ride that high, give the people what they want, and be like the hero for it?
I like how you said that not everyone is gonna like sweet potatoes, or like how my mother-in-law doesn't like green beans.
Yeah.
Not everyone's gonna like your signature dish, even if it's, like, the best thing you've ever eaten. So, we can't that's the other thing that really goes with social media. We can't be worried about trying to please everyone, because if we're just trying to please everyone, we are what Zig Ziglar calls it, like, you're a wandering generality, like,
Mm-hmm.
and a wandering generality doesn't stick in anyone's brain. It just completely it goes right past them, right? They go right past their brain, in and out, in one ear, out the other, in one eyeball, out the other, whatever. And so he says you want to be a meaningful, specific, because specificity is memorable and specificity sticks. So, like, even as we're talking about Thanksgiving, like, I feel like I don't make the candied pecans, but every year we go down to the German Christmas market on the Friday after Thanksgiving, and they have a candied pecan truck, and I always get them there. So I can just, like, envision if I walked into your house, which I can picture because
Mm-hmm.
I've seen it in reels and
Yep.
stories and all the things, and even though I've never been there, I need to get there this year next
Yeah.
year. I can, like, picture walking in and it smelling like candied pecans. It's like Thanksgiving is such a homey,
Yeah.
cozy holiday, and it's also such a community holiday
Mm-hmm.
because you're gathering with people. I mean, like, we could go deep on marketing metaphors, like gathering. Like, what does gathering mean to you? What does community mean to you? Like, how can you build this account that people want to gather around? They want to
Mm-hmm.
come and sit at your table. They want to come back for another meal, come back for another beverage, come back for that glass of wine.
Yeah.
Like, that's how, if we are focused on showing up that way, you become this meaningful specific that sticks in someone's mind that they cannot forget.
Yep, that's so good. So that kind of brings me to my next question that I was going to ask you, which is, I mean, do you guys play like any games or anything during holidays? Obviously, like you talk about the actual football game, but do you guys do anything else?
We don't really play any other games with the Peterson family. We do, unless throwing beer cans out of the hot tub and trying to hit a target counts as a game
It
that
counts.
they play. They all play. No, so not really, but we play, and I think you play this too. We play code names
Uh-huh.
with my side of the family, which is so fun. Not necessarily Thanksgiving, but that's like our family game.
Yeah, your go-to. I love
Yeah.
that. Yeah, I feel like we've mixed it up over the years too. We like playing code names. We've even just done like we've done bingo before, which this year my parents told us that they were going to get an actual like bingo set, like the little rolly ball and all of that stuff. And because a lot of it is like now a lot of the kids are old enough to play with us, and there's 11 grandkids on my side of the family. So lots of participation, but you want something that's easy for them. In the past, we've just done like Uno or whatever else. Hey, you know we have big goals for you to help you sell more houses, build a brand you love, and become the go-to agent in your community.
And we are working hard to make that happen, from preparing new podcast episodes every week to creating free resources to constantly improving the Modern Agent Social Club membership so marketing feels easier and more effective for you.
We also have big goals for this podcast to get these conversations into the ears of more agents who are desperate for that same transformation.
If this show has helped you this year, it would mean so much if you left a 5-star review to tell us something you like about the show. And when you do, you can email a screenshot of it to support@modernagentsocialclub.com for a free gift from us.
You know, another thing you could do, share our show with a real estate friend. You'll be their hero for sending them an hour of encouragement each week, and it takes less than a minute.
And meanwhile, we'll be over here brainstorming more ways we can support you and your business. Okay, back to the show.
Last Christmas, my son got sick on, I think, the morning of or Christmas Eve. So we couldn't go, of course. I feel like someone in our family is always sick for the holidays. So we stayed home. But apparently, my brother taught all my nieces and nephews how to play beer pong. But of course, they played it with like apple juice. But they were like, this is so fun. You just take the ball. And like they were explaining it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, don't tell your teachers you did that.
Well, it is
like,
a fun,
sounds like beer pong.
It's a fun hand-eye coordination game, I guess, right?
You know, it's good for their development. So
it is. Brain development. I think it's so funny as kids start getting older, like what they say. Like my friend is always like, I can't wait till Henry goes and fills out this questionnaires at school.
my
Like, my
gosh.
mom loves whatever. Like her kid put on hers, like, my mom loves watching TV and drinking wine. Like, oh my gosh.
I love that.
Yeah.
Caroline one time told her Sunday school teachers that her mom likes to drink grown-up drinks, which is what I called like a fountain pop, because I wouldn't let her drink it. I'd be like, this is a grown-up drink. So then all of a sudden she's telling everyone, oh, my mom just drinks grown-up drinks. I'm like, thanks.
That's so funny. My friend was, kids are hilarious. My friend was just telling me, she said like, she'll tell her daughter like, well, you know, maybe they're having a hard day, or maybe like I'm having a hard day.
Yes.
And so then she's like, well, until my mother-in-law comes over, and Olivia's like, my mom's having a hard day. Just like, I don't know what to say.
I love that so much.
I feel like mental gymnastics sometimes, like how to explain things to a kid that makes it understandable, but not too adult-like, but you know.
Yes,
so
exactly. Yeah, I started a notes app in my phone a while ago, just says, what's the kids say? Because the bottom line is like, you think you're going to remember all these things over the years, and you can't. Like, you just forget the little things that they say and how they say it. And so every once in a while, my kids would be like, can you pull that up again so we can read it? Because it was so fun. And yeah.
That's so fun. Yeah, you did a good job, I feel like, of documenting on Facebook, because then you'll share like a memory from Facebook of what your kid said or something funny. I need to be better at that.
Well, and I did it for a long time. I feel like that's kind of how everyone used Facebook forever. But then, like, my kids kind of got to a point where they were like, not even that they were embarrassed, but they were like, but I wanted to tell my teacher that I did this. And it was like, oh yeah, like that's not really my story to tell. So I kind of stopped as much, like even when I lost a tooth or whatever else, like they wanted to go to school and tell everyone and not have their friends be like, we know, my mom showed me. So I'm like, I never thought about that, but that actually makes a lot of sense. So
that's so true.
Yeah. But no, the one thing that I love about games though, and kind of like what you were saying, that's a great way to like build community. And no, you're not going to like play a game on Instagram, but if you kind of think of like even like the stories that you share on Instagram stories, or just like the little, like if you are doing some kind of like photo carousel or wherever where you're just kind of sharing a little bit behind the scenes, it's just kind of gamifying that a little bit for people and letting them like giving them lots of opportunities to connect with you and lots of things to like reach out to you about. It's not like this formal like dinner party where we're all sitting around, we're having this one discussion, but it's like, okay, now let's all chill out. Like, I kind of use the joke too, like by the time that you're like done with the meal and all of that was so delicious and so wonderful, that's when you want to go put on your sweatpants, go kick back in the living room, play some games, goof off, like scroll your phone to show people whatever. Like, that's kind of where more like, okay, this is just who we are now as people, right? So if you can give your community a space where they can kind of be that way, and I think a lot of that is through email as well, like just having a place where it's like, okay, I'm not talking about this on the other app. I'm just going to talk about this here with you, and I want to tell you something that's fun or interesting or whatever.
It feels more one-on-one and intimate, and yeah, email's a different space. I love gamifying things. I think it makes it more fun to show up too. So even like on your own terms, gamifying something, even if you're the only one who knows about it, like this isn't really gamifying, but I was following this creator who wrote down like every month her goals, and your goals could be maybe how many people do I want to reach, or how many conversations do I want to have, or how many local people do I want to follow me this month or something. And like she's like, every time I write them down, like it makes it happen. Not because she wrote it down, but because she then has this like tangible thing in her head of, I'm going to be more intentional about what I'm sharing, right? So
Mm-hmm.
then it reflects to what that goal was. And if you think about it, like even we've had a few new members recently share screenshots of their reach and their
Yeah.
like analytics since they signed up. And one of them was like 56% more reach or whatever they were. And I'm like, that's really cool that you're looking at that. Like, I don't even tell them to look at that. But like that's something to pay attention to, because if you are showing up with more of a plan and with more intention, and to me, looking at that number gamifies it. So like every Monday, well, Mark's been falling off the wagon on this, but Mark, my husband, will send like a recap of our analytics. So like how many new members, how many people did our Instagram reach, how many podcast downloads did we have? And we can look back and be like, oh, that's because we did that in our stories, or that's because we did that. That's what our podcast episode was about this week, or like
Yeah.
we can usually look back and tie it back to something, or something that wasn't there. So like the lack of like, oh well, like we didn't do that this week, so that's
Yep.
probably why our numbers were down, or we sent an email and our podcast numbers went way up. I mean, there's so many things you can correlate it to. So instead of becoming like, oh, I should send another email, it's like if I send this email, we're gonna have like 500 more people that listen to our podcast this week
Mm-hmm.
that are gonna be like excited and hopefully get a little whatever you're getting listening right now, like a little spark of joy,
Right.
a little golden nugget takeaway, something fun to listen to in the car or on your way to a showing. Like we're going to be able to serve that many more people if we send that email. So instead of it looking like this daunting task, it's like, ooh, let's see how many more people are going to hear this now because we did that thing.
Yeah.
So I think that's like gamifying to me too. Is just like making yourself be more accountable to the things you want to do to keep your business moving forward, but then it feels like fun and exciting at the same time.
Yeah. I totally agree on that. Okay, I have to ask you, were you ever, 'cause I'm sure a lot of people aren't anymore, but were you ever a Black Friday shopper, midnight shopper, early morning shopper?
No, not really. I am too lazy to leave at midnight to go shopping. I just want to watch the Friends rerun Thanksgiving episodes or like a Christmas story or whatever. But I do remember vividly one year we were in Iowa and at my aunt and uncle's house, and my aunt is like totally a Black Friday shopper. In fact, she was just here and she says recently, she goes, yeah, I want to order this dress for this wedding on Amazon, but like I don't really think I have a Prime account. Do you think you could just order it for me and send it to my house and I'll Venmo you? And I'm like, that seems harder than
Right.
setting up Prime. Like, let's set up your Prime. So she's just not an online shopper. She's a physical person shopper in person, which I get. And that's probably great. Saves so much money if
Right.
I were
Exactly.
only in person shopper. But I remember this one Thanksgiving, she's like drawing a map on a piece of paper. Like, you're going to go here, Jessica, and you're going to go here,
Yes.
Chelsea, and you go to the electronics because we got to get this thing. And she's like, like just hilarious. Like she could be a TV show character. And so like we went and we got the things she wanted to get at. I think it was Target. And it was like, that's totally her. But I'm like, if it
Yeah.
was up to me, I'm probably not waiting in line for the thing. I'm like, no, I'm full. I have my Thanksgiving pants on and I want to watch Friends
Yep.
or play
Yep.
code names, you know?
Exactly. That's so funny. Yeah, that's kind of how we are too. We actually, it was several years ago on Thanksgiving. We were supposed to go to like Brett's family that day. And I think I was pregnant with Lottie. And I was morning sickness out the wazoo. And I was like, I cannot leave this house. And so I was like, you're welcome to take the kids and go. I will just stay here. It was a couple hours away. And he was like, no, it's fine. And I'm like, well, I just feel really bad that you're missing out on your family today. But like, just in no position to go. And he was like, "Oh no, it's fine." And so we stayed home, and he's a Cowboys fan. It is the one bad
What? Like
thing.
a Cowboys
It's
fan?
the one bad thing about him, okay? Because I grew up a Colts fan, and when he told me
No.
that, I was like, "You were almost perfect."
Why is he not a Colts fan? I feel like I
Well,
didn't even you must have kept this secret from
I
me.
don't brag about it, okay? He is a Cowboys fan because when he was little, that's when the Cowboys were in their prime, and so he was kind of a bandwagon follower
That's
and loved
common for his
them.
age, like our
Yes.
age.
Yes, exactly. So, Cowboys always play, like, the Packers on Thanksgiving, and so that's, like, a big tradition. So, anyway and, keep in mind, by Thanksgiving time, that's, like, just when football season for us ends, and so we going, like, 500,000 miles an hour to, like not a sudden halt, but it definitely feels like it compared to everything else. And so we just, like, laid around in our sweats all day. I ended up actually, some people brought us leftovers because they felt bad for us, but otherwise, I ended up going to Kroger and, like, finding a couple little things to make, and it ended up being, like, the most, like, relaxing, refreshing day ever. And then ever since then, that's what he's wanted to do. And so every once in a while, we'll still, like, go, which his family doesn't do, like, a huge thing for it, but we see them a lot throughout the year. But still, he's just like, "I'm exhausted. This has been quite the season. I'm ready just to," and so it's kind of become nice. So usually my parents will come over. We usually do Thanksgiving with my family, like, the weekend before. And so it's kind of just, like, chill. But all that being said, I remember there being days when it was like we would go to the holidays or whatever with the family, and then everyone would start getting the ads out and start circling who was going to get what, kind of like the same thing that you did, like mapping it all out, which is so funny because it kind of is like the people who feel like they have to map out a month of content at a time, and, like, they want to get everything done right away and they want all these things. Nothing wrong with that. And there's one way to do that, and you can do it and have a great time. I'm more like you too, where I'm like, I could either order it online, or I'd rather go to Target on a Tuesday morning when no one's there than on, like, a Friday morning when everyone's there on the busiest day of the year. But both styles get the job done, right? Someone might save a little bit more money there. Other people might spend a little bit more money here, but, like, overall, it's going to kind of balance out and not make that big of a difference. So it's funny, like, the different, like, personality types when it comes to planning content. And even just, like, some people want to do, like, this huge brand overhaul, and other people are like, "Well, maybe if I just start wearing this color, I'll actually like the way that looks better in my content." Like, it doesn't have to be this huge overhaul every time.
That's such a good point. I think sometimes, like, the littlest implementations that you repeat are, like, the biggest splashes, almost more so than a brand overhaul. Because sometimes, like, a brand overhaul, it's like you do it and you're like, "Well, now what?" Like,
Right.
you may even announce it or do, like, this reveal post of, like, "I got my new branding," but if you think of, like, who your follower is, they probably don't care.
No.
They really don't care, and as exciting as it is for you, because I get it, like, I would be excited too, but, like, no one else really cares. It's
Right.
kind of like if you're like, "Oh, I got a new website. Look at it, so exciting." Like, no one really cares.
What's in it
They
for
more
them?
care, like, yeah, everyone's like, "What is in it for me?" And it's another one of those announcement style messages or posts that you might feel really excited about, but then it tends to fall flat because it is about you, and people are like, "But what about me?" Like, unless you spun it as, "Oh, I just did this, and now as my client, you're gonna get this folder of organized blah, 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 and videos that drop every week, keeping you," like, if you bring it back to them,
Right. Exactly.
yes, the overhaul announcement, whatever will work. So always be thinking that, like, it's that whole Thanksgiving mindset mentality again of if they're coming over and they're coming to my house and we're gonna entertain them and host them, what is in it for them? Because, like, I'm not gonna be talking on my phone in my office while they're just sitting there in the dark waiting for me to come
Right.
out. They're gonna be expecting me to have food and drinks and probably some music playing and going back to the whole tablescape and
Mhm.
ambiance, what's your brand vibe? What is your like, what is that tone and visual and thing that makes your account unique to you?
Yeah, I totally am with you on that. Small Business Saturday, other fun local events where you're at on that weekend?
Ooh, yes. So I kinda mentioned this. We have our German Christmas market, which I love. Like, if you guys Google I know, like, I think Milwaukee, like, which is, like, the obviously our metropolitan biggest city near me, has one too, but the Oconomowoc one is the cutest, like, most nostalgic event ever. Like, it looks the same. They set up all these, like, wooden houses. They start prepping for this, like, November 1st. So, like,
Love that.
the thing is already being built because they construct this whole giant indoor, like, I shouldn't even call it a tent. It's more of like a portable venue space. And they have like a German band that plays in there, and they'll have like giant soft pretzels and cheese and beer and like German beer. And they have like a mulled hot wine, which like I do not like, but I will drink it that day. Like it's just part of it, like
Yeah.
it's part of the experience. And then they have like the little shops and all the things and Santa and food trucks. It's the pecan trucks, like
Yep.
it's cutest event ever. I'm
It
like
sounds
obsessed.
so
My
great.
whole brand could be this. Like if it were made possible. Yeah, it's just like the hallmarky little event that I love. And what was I gonna say about it? I forgot my point. What were you saying?
Well, just asking if you guys do that on Small Business Saturday or what your
We usually
traditions
do
are.
that, and then we'll end up at this martini bar called Splash, and, like, all my cousins will get fancy martinis, and I'll get my typical Sauvignon Blanc.
Yes. That's awesome.
What do you guys well, you kind of explained that you don't go all out.
Yeah, we don't go all out. You know what we started doing? Well, Brett has done this since I've known him, and then we started joining him. Every year in Indiana, it's Thanksgiving weekend is the state finals for football. So we always say like, gosh, every year it's like, can we just still be playing on Thanksgiving? Like we want to spend Thanksgiving in Indy, like getting ready to like warm up and all that. Cause we get to like whoever wins, they all get to play at the Colts stadium. And like the Colts just do it for anyone who cares. They just do a really good job investing in like Indiana football programs. And like they actually display all of the high school football helmets and like the whole state in their, oh my gosh, stadium. So like we always
That's
go like
so
so the
cool.
kids now know like, oh, go look for our helmet there, and they point out like the Eagles helmet, and like we get like our treats and everything.
I'm
But
gonna look if I ever go hopefully I'll go back, but
oh, I know. Well, if you go, I'm going with you because it's
yeah.
so fun. But yeah, so we'll do that all the time, and then we always joke. The joke was growing up, I had the biggest fat crush on Jeff Saturday, who is the
I feel like I've
center
heard you say this.
the center for the Colts. And it's so funny because he kind of looks like Brett. And when I started dating Brett, I remember I had like this group of guy friends and they would text me photos of Brett and Jeff Saturday side by side and be like, do you see the correspondence here? And I was like, that's precisely the point.
Yeah.
Like,
I knew that
I'm,
from day one.
yeah, I am well aware of what's happening here and I'm okay with it. So, but there's like these giant pictures of like Peyton Manning and all of this stuff. But there's one huge one of Jeff Saturday. And every year my kids are like, go take a picture with him, mom. And I'm like, okay.
That's
So
so funny.
yeah, but what's kind of fun about it is like, I mean, yes, like it would be so cool to be playing there and like hopefully someday that will actually happen. Also, it's really tough to get there. Like our sectional loan is one of the toughest in the state. So it's like, who knows if that'll ever happen. But it's really cool to like go somewhere. We get a hotel downtown Indy. The kids get to swim. We'll go shopping a little bit or whatever.
Was he something to do with the Packers?
He went to the Packers like his last year, which it's funny. I remember this. It would have been like right when Brett and I got married because he gave me a Packers jersey with Saturday on the back. Yeah.
Period. The Colts.
There he
A
is.
Colts man. A Colt. A Colt.
Colts. Yes.
Sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's fine. But what's cool about it is like we make it a fun family weekend and whatever. But it also is kind of fun, like as we sit there, like, and we'll tell the kids, like, our goal is to be down on that field. Like, our goal is to be able to go through those tunnels. Our goal is to use those locker rooms. Like, and so, yes, it might not ever happen, right? But like, it's kind of fun to have something as like a family that you're all like working towards together. And it's kind of like all those late nights, all the parents that complain, all the people that have something to say on, the talk shows or whatever, like it all becomes just noise when you're like, no, we're laser focused on this like one thing. And yet it's bigger than that game, right? Like we always say, like we're trying to develop like good men who are like good husbands and fathers and stuff someday. But it's a really cool thing. And so I think like, but I'm saying all of that also to like bring that back to marketing. And it's like, yes, you're going to have goals as a business owner, as a real estate agent. Maybe your spouse is in on that with you and they're like, oh yeah, like let's accomplish this. Like, that'd be really cool. Maybe you have like a team or like your brokerage is like super supportive. That's really cool. But like, that's one thing that I love about Modern Agent because I feel like there is no agent doing this alone. Like, it's so cool to be able to like sit there and also like picturing like sitting in the stadium, watching this all take place. We always sit in one of the end zones, watching it all take place and thinking like the person to the right and to my left knows exactly what I'm thinking and what I'm going through. And like, just thinking about that in a membership or in some kind of community with other agents who are trying to accomplish like the same goal that you are, not in competition with each other, but all side by side. It is just a really like special, almost like an electrifying atmosphere where it's like
the
man,
camaraderie. Like camaraderie
yes.
builds so much community and it makes you feel like it's even being, like you said, like being a fan of the same team or wanting your team to go. it's just such an emotional thing, and it makes it, like, more powerful and more exciting and more fun when you're doing it together. It's like going to Lambeau Field for a Packer game, like, oh my gosh,
Yes.
energy there is just you can't match that. Like, it's because all these fans are in one place together, like, and so the community is such a huge part of the way you're marketing, and I know it's also hard because, like, especially I mean, we say, like, modern marketing as if this hasn't been going on for 10 plus years, you know?
Right.
Like, it's really it's non-negotiable anymore. It's not even yes, it's modern, but it's, like, non-negotiable. I actually looked up the definition of modern because I was like, I sometimes feel like, should I be even using that word? Because this is just like it is. Like, there's no other option. So I looked up the definition and it's two things relating to the present or recent times as opposed to the remote past and characterized by or using the most up to date techniques, ideas, or equipment. So,
Mhm.
like, you're just doing what's most up to date. So, like, that will always be a thing because there will always
Yeah.
be something new.
Always
There's always
evolving.
changing. It's, yeah, always evolving. So, I think like having that in your head, and because not all, I mean, the real estate industry was not built as a modern industry by
No.
any means. It is built like prehistoric times, like I like to say. And so sometimes the people that we are surrounded by still aren't really up to like wanting to do the more modern things, right? Or stay up to date about an algorithm. Like they could care less. They're like, I'm going to keep cold calling. Like,
Yeah.
I think being in a community with people who are there with you, it just gives it a completely different feeling.
Yeah, for sure. Well, none of us were meant to go through any of this alone. And
Right.
like we said, modern agents have more fun. And it is more fun to go through it with somebody. It's fun to experience a win with somebody. There's nothing worse than being like hitting this goal and being like, oh my gosh, and then turning and having no one there. Like you need someone to celebrate with and whatever. And so that's what I love about like just being in community with each other. Especially after you've sat through Thanksgiving where everyone's like asking you questions about the market and everyone's got an opinion and real estate agents always whatever. Like it's just nice to go back to your happy place and be like, these are my people. These are people who get it and like we're in this together. It just feels good.
Yeah, I love community is the best. I was gonna say one more thing about Small Business Saturday, but we went way past that topic. But I just feel like this is such a fun Small Business Saturday is fun for content, right? Like it's fun to show where you're going, where you're shopping, what you're
Yeah.
doing. But I saw this reel and the girl was saying that like in the last however many months, like so many businesses have closed in their town and all these things, and how she said, I want to flip it around to the consumer and the locals. And I want to ask if your last 5 packages that got delivered were from Amazon, you are contributing to that
Uh-huh.
problem. And I was like, that is an alarming thing to like think, right? Because how often are you hitting add to cart, buy now, deliver tomorrow on Amazon? But also like it's so true. And like, do we need like it made me think like this is so off topic, but it made me think, do I really need those little things from Amazon all the time? Or could I just
Right.
like wait and go get it somewhere local? Or go shop for my Christmas presents locally. So, like, I guess my point with this in marketing is that if you can be supportive of small businesses on social media and share like your favorite spots and where to shop for Christmas and what you're getting, where you love, like that's going to expand to your community. Or even sharing a reel like that about like were your last 5 deliveries from Amazon. Let's change that
Yeah.
going forward and shop from our own local community to
Love
make our
that.
community better, right? And like you being that person is going to support those local shops, those local places, those local even restaurants. And I was thinking how like I don't create content to like reach my local community anymore. Obviously, I
Mhm.
am online business, right? So it's different than the people we're talking
Yep.
to, all of you. But I still share so much about our local community anyways that I have a really big local following back from when I was selling real estate from I continue it. And so like everywhere I go, all these people know who I am. Like the boutique owners know my name. Like it's just I'm always at the same coffee shop. They know who
Yeah.
my son is. I mean like and that's because of how I show up, and I'm not doing that to get anything.
Right.
Clearly, it's nothing related to my business right now, but I still always wanna support our local community and make it a better place, and as an agent of helping people move to your community, and you're trying to, like, better your community and give
Mhm.
back to your community, like, you should be doing that too because you are, like, basically leading people to their home, right,
Yeah.
where they live, but their home isn't just their house, it's
Yeah.
the downtown, it's the local events, it's the local high school, it's the everything else happening in
Yep.
town is your home. So like I think sometimes we get either too in our heads about local content, we get too I need to do it all or nothing, but like just share the places you actually truly love.
Yeah.
Like when you do go, take a picture, take a video. It's not like I go to these places and spend thousands of dollars. I just repeatedly share them on social media.
Yeah.
And that's better for them probably than me spending $1,000 and never saying a word about them,
Right.
right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
just remembering that I think is huge during this holiday season.
I love that. This makes me really happy. I love the holidays as much as what I love summer. And I'm always sad to see like the cold weather come. I love like the coziness of the holidays and all of that. So we've got a lot of really great episodes coming up for all our listeners. We're coming up on 1 year of podcasting, which is kind of insane. Like last year at this time, we were like scrambling, trying to come up with a name and an outline and all of that. So it's just kind of fun to watch it all have it already come to life and see what's come of it. It's really cool.
And while we're here, if we don't ask this very much, but if you want to support the podcast, one thing that you could do that would be so helpful is to just tell a friend, tell a real estate friend about our podcast and give them a link to it. Tell them to subscribe. That's it. Like nothing else.
All those listens help so much, and it helps give us like a good idea on like what type of content you're enjoying, what people are gravitating towards, all of that, because like that's what we want to do, right? We want to like serve up things as our signature dish as the hosts of this podcast. We want to serve up things that you guys enjoy consuming and that you feel like, hopefully, like as we're saying all of this, hopefully when you're listening to this, you feel like these are my people. Like I found my place, and the person to my right and my left, like they get it, you know, like that's the vibe that we want to hear. So I love that.
Yeah. And if you have episode topics, or even if you have someone that you're like, oh my gosh, they would be such a good fit to be interviewed on the podcast, like DM us on Instagram. We love to hear directly from you guys.
Yeah.
I know we asked like, what should our listeners be called? And we had a few submissions. We aren't quite ready to announce it yet, but maybe on the 1 year anniversary, we'll be ready to name the listeners.
Name you all.
Oh, yeah, we love hearing from you. So like podcasts are hard. It's so different than Instagram where it's like someone can comment or DM you or whatever. Like podcasts, it's like you put it out there and it's in Neverland and I can see how many people listen, but I have no idea who you are or anything, like nothing.
Or what you think. So, exactly.
So talk to us. Let us know what you want to hear, especially in the new year. And if you know anyone who writes and creates jingles, my dream for the new year is to have a custom jingle similar to like the Toast. I mean, not theirs, but like how they have their own jingle.
Yeah.
So good.
That's really funny that you said that. I don't listen to that show very often. I just like their song, but I was laughing because I saw like they did like a contest of getting people to submit like songs that they could use as a jingle on their show. And one of the songs started, because they always start their show by saying "Good morning, millennials." And so the song started by saying like, "Good morning, millennials." And so this morning when I went to wake up my kids, I opened their doors and I was like, "Good morning." And then I was like, "Millennials." And I'm like, yeah, they're not even millennials, but it was a fun, it gets in your head. It was so fun and catchy. They were real annoyed by it. Yeah.
No, seriously, I want our jingle to be in your head all day long.
Yes.
And it's like in a good way. Like I think, like I don't listen to the Toast all the time, but I will get their little jingle in my head and it'll be in my head all day. And I'm like, this is just such a happy song. Yes. Like I just love it so much.
It totally is. I love that. Very cool. Thanks so much, everyone.
Yeah, have a happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Enjoy your favorite dishes, your family games, your
Black Friday shopping,
whatever you're doing.
Exactly.
And we will see you next Tuesday.
Bye.
I'm so glad we got to hang out today. If you're as sad as I am that our time is up, I've got good news. There are a couple of different ways we can keep the conversation going.
First, follow us on Instagram at Modern Agent Marketing Girls and introduce yourself in the DMs. Also, we always have a free Modern Agent resource available, so check out today's show notes for the goods.
And finally, hang out with other go-to real estate girls like you and finally create a marketing plan that works when you join Modern Agent Social Club. All the details are in today's notes.
XOXO, the Marketing Girls.